Ukrainian drone blows up North Korean Special Forces soldiers on foot in Kursk. North Korean troops are back in action in western Russia's Kursk Oblast, attacking on foot with fresh tactics and targeting Ukrainian vehicles with their unique Bullseye 4 mobile missile launchers. The military contingent of the Korean People's Army has returned to the operational zone, the Ukrainian Center for Defense Strategies reported. Where before, the North Koreans mostly attacked on foot in companies, 100 or 200 troops, they're now launching assaults in platoon groups of 50, according to CDS. The smaller assault groups may help the North Koreans avoid detection by Ukrainian drones and could mitigate mass casualties in the event the Ukrainians do detect them. The Ukrainian 47th Mechanized Brigade has been lobbing cluster shells at Russian and North Korean assault groups in Kursk. Each shell scatters as many as 88 grenade-sized submunitions and can kill and maim infantry across a wide area. Cluster shells have defeated several North Korean attacks in Kursk, including one of the first in December. According to Army TV, the official channel of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, it's standard practice for Ukrainian units, including the 47th Mechanized Brigade, to fire a cluster shell at any large concentration of enemy troops, and to follow up the initial strike with an additional high-explosive shell, just to give them no chance. Alongside Ukraine's ever-present first-person view drones, the cluster munitions are among the main drivers of North Korean casualties. Pyongyang's 12,000-person 11th Army Corps reportedly lost a third of its troops killed or wounded before temporarily retreating in late January or early February. It's unclear whether Pyongyang sent additional infantry to make good the 11th Army Corps' losses. A Ukrainian drone recently registered the first hit on a North Korean M1989 howitzer near Pokrovsk in eastern Ukraine. And recent releases by Russian channels indicate North Korean Bullseye 4 missile vehicles are active in Kursk. The Ukrainians first spotted the 6-wheeled 8-missile Bullseye 4 near the front line back in August. They blew up their first Bullseye 4 months later. The surviving missile vehicles fired back, recently striking a possible Ukrainian fighting position, as well as a Ukrainian armored vehicle. Any successful Bullseye 4 strikes would only slightly even the loss rate in Kursk. According to one open-source analyst, the Russians have lost around 550 vehicles in Kursk since the Ukrainians invaded in August. The Ukrainians have lost around 400, but don't expect the North Koreans to slow the pace of their attacks in Kursk as they rejoin the fighting, and as the politics of the wider war tilt against Ukraine. On the other hand, one Ukrainian brigade loses an entire company in a futile attack on a useless tree line. Combining their drones, mines, missiles, and artillery, the Ukrainian Army's 47th Mechanized Brigade and 92nd Assault Brigade not only resisted a Russian assault on their positions in western Russia's Kursk Oblast on Friday, they destroyed it, leaving a strip of the forest in the Oblast littered with dead Russians. The Ukrainian 95th Air Assault Brigade, deployed to Kursk alongside the 92nd Assault Brigade, rediscovered this truism the hard way in early January, when it rapidly shifted from defense to offense and advanced toward the village of Berdyn, just north of the main Ukrainian line. A clutch of Russia's best fiber optic drones blasted the exposed Ukrainian paratroopers, inflicting heavy casualties and defeating the ill-advised attack. The same thing has happened to the 92nd Assault Brigade more than once. The part of the brigade that has been fighting in Kursk has had its staff replaced 3 times over the 3 years of Russia's wider war on Ukraine, due to feudal orders to seize a tree line at the cost of an entire company's, Konstantin explained. A company normally has more than 100 troops. Left unsaid in Konstantin's criticism is an implied endorsement of the most obvious Ukrainian strategy as the wider war grinds into its 4th year. Dug-in Ukrainian brigades with intact supply lines and support from drones and artillery routinely inflict horrific casualties on Russian troops, at times killing or maiming hundreds in a single clash. The Russians have no choice but to attack, as the Kremlin's war aims are mostly offensive in nature, primarily to capture as much of eastern Ukraine as possible, as fast as possible. The Ukrainians can lay their mines, pre-sight their artillery kill zones and arm their drones, and confidently wait for the Russians to come rolling or marching across the shell-pocked no man's land. Experienced Ukrainian units are highly effective at repelling Russian attacks, Konstantin noted,